Hey folks, and welcome to the Drinking Alone with Friends news station. This is your this is one of your lead anchors, Chris.
This is your sports reporter, Tud.
And I'm Obert, here with weather.
We come to you live on this beautiful Easter morning. Well, live 4 days ago.
As live as any podcast can be from 4 days in the past.
Right.
Happy Easter, folks. Happy Earth Day. You know.
Are they one of the same, or is that like tomorrow?
Nope, it's Earth Day today.
Is
Earth
it really?
Day.
Oh man.
Whoop
Yeah.
whoop. Got to get out there and clean the earth.
See, you wouldn't have found that out if you didn't listen to our new news podcast.
Yeah. We're talking all the new news you need to hear.
I think the most important thing that people need to know, or our listeners need to know, is that at one point in time we were live when we recorded this.
Right, yes. And they also needed to know that it was 10/8 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
8 a.m. in the morning over here.
10 a.m. over here, so...
10 a.m. in the morning.
That's weird. It's 10 a.m. for you, Chris. It's 10 a.m. for me, too.
Breaking news. We both have the same time zone. Boop, 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 boop. So, but no, we, busy schedule, trying to fit all the family time in and all of that fun stuff. So we are decided to start drinking in the morning. I think that's a good thing for the podcast.
Yeah, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's very true, Chad. Yeah, I actually took a break from looking for all of my Easter eggs to record with you guys and start drinking. So I'm feeling after this I'll have renewed energy and be able to find those missing eggs.
Yeah, we had eggs strewn across the living room this morning. Breaking news: they were all empty. So we think there's a thief, Easter egg innards thief. Breaking news:
Easter egg filling has been missing.
It's gone. It's been stolen.
Well, we know you all liked, or that you liked those Cadbury cream eggs, so I think you'd probably be the lead culprit.
Yeah, maybe he's the highest suspect.
Yeah, you're the suspect.
It's just a board with my face with like a bunch of like red lines pointing away from it.
So like regular Cadbury cream eggs and like the caramel Cadbury cream eggs and the chocolate Cadbury cream eggs.
A big X over the cream one.
The bunny with a question mark.
But anyways, we hope you enjoyed this news segment or the new news program. But what have you guys been up to the last little bit? I think Tud, you were bragging about your excursions into drinking.
Yes. So yesterday I had the unfortunate task of driving to New York City.
That's never fun.
No
one ever once says, I want to drive to New York.
Right.
Yeah, you know where it's fun to drive? To New York City. No one ever thinks that.
So to make a bad situation good, I decided to head over to Other Half, which is in Brooklyn. And then...
Recently featured on the podcast.
Yes.
By Chris.
One short episode ago.
So I was able to go to Other Half and try their beers and buy some beers to bring home, which will make their appearance on the pod at a later date. And then on the way back, I chose to make the detour to Two Roads as well as Area 2, which is that new experimental brewing facility that Two Roads just opened.
Oh yeah, you told us about that.
They have a cool ship. Yeah.
Yep.
They have the second biggest cool ship in the country. They were going for the biggest, but somebody on their staff made an error and they ended up buying one that was 5 gallons or 5 barrels too small.
Boo.
Yeah.
That's the story they tell you.
That was what I was told.
That's breaking news, folks.
That is breaking news. One thing I will say, too, I want to give a quick shout-out to Patrick. He's a listener. He's also the guy who gave me the tour. And yesterday on the tour, when I mentioned that I had a podcast and I mentioned the name of the podcast, he was like, oh, hey, I listened to that podcast. And then I told him who I was, and he was like, no shit, really?
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Patrick, this beer's for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Cheers to Patrick.
So I was able to experience this new Area 2, and I got to tell you, it's one of the coolest things I've seen. This entire brewery is built for experimental beer, and the cool ship room that they have is just something that's, you have to go there and see it because it's just so unique and so cool, and it's just awesome. Go check it out. It's a $5 tour, and you get beer on it, so why not?
Did you get any pictures we could post on the Instagram?
I did. We're going to post them, over the course of the next couple weeks or a couple days, depending on how much we want to put up at one time.
We'll probably put them all up, just one fell swoop, just boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, and enjoy the cool ship, folks.
Well, there we go. I feel like I should explain what a cool ship is, potentially, to some of our listeners who might not know. It is a very thin stainless steel bed, I guess is more of the way to describe it, where you can fit 50 barrels of beer into it, but it's very long and flat, so it's the beer's not very deep when it's laying in it. And basically you just put the beer in there after you're done brewing it, and it's still hot. And as it cools and sits there, it takes the natural air from around it, because it's open to like the elements, except for screens so bugs can't fly on. It takes the yeast that's just naturally in the air and spontaneously ferments. And it's really interesting, because that's how you get...
We've talked about the cool ships on the podcast before, but I didn't realize it was basically a glorified kiddie pool.
That's basically exactly what it is. The room is covered in non-treated lumber, so that way, as the beer cools and condensation forms, the beer and all the water floats up and gets caught in the ceiling, and then it drips back into the beer. And this keeps the fermentation process going along down the road. And
so, because some of that yeast will live on the wood,
right? And it will live. It'll live and grow inside the room. Once they start brewing, it'll live in there forever. And so this is open up to marshland in the back of two roads. That way they can get all the cool yeast. I think we talked about that on the podcast before. One thing I did learn is they can only brew in that cool ship between like April and June and September and November. Other than that, it's either too cold or too hot in Connecticut to brew it. So they spent a lot of money on this cool ship to only be able to use it for a limited amount of time per year.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, and because it's spontaneous, that means that even if they try to brew the same beer more than once, there's no guarantee it's going to taste exactly the same each go round. Correct.
Right. You're always going to have new yeast growth and all that stuff. So that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other things we can talk about the brewery too. But I can also we can talk about that at a later date too, as we need to drop some more beer knowledge on our listeners.
Yeah. Well, do you have a Area 2 beer that you want to share with us today?
I do, actually. So I'm going to be drinking a Calva, which is it's not their flagship beer. That would be a different beer, but this is their most versatile beer. So what they do with this beer is it starts out as the same base level ale. And what they do is they take this Calva beer and they throw it into different barrels and or brewing devices, and it changes the flavor. So Calva was put into a barrel that used to house gin and other clear spirits. But at the same time, we also had a beer called Dark Noir that was put into a wine barrel. Same base beer, two different ways of aging it, two extremely different beers.
Oh, so you're saying that the Calva and the, what did you call the other one, the Noir?
Dark Noir.
Dark Noir. Calva and Dark Noir are both the same beer, just aged in different barrels.
Correct.
And for probably different lengths of time and all that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you really get to appreciate how much difference the barrel makes.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I did not like, neither Caitlin nor I like Dark Noir at all, but this Calva is good. So with that, I'm going to drink it.
Yeah, I that's very interesting, taking the same beer. I mean, I guess you can see it from time to time, but for him to dislike one and then really like the other, it kind of is very interesting.
Yeah, so this beer's really, it's a sour. You definitely get that hint of the clear liquor coming off of it. It's a little weedy. Definitely probably a little bit of lime in it too, which is interesting.
I get that tartness you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really good. As you can see for you guys, there's a little bit of sediment sitting at the bottom from live yeast cultures that have since died off.
So the dead yeast cultures.
Yeah, the dead yeast. Yeah, what did I say? Live yeast cultures
that have died.
That have died.
The undead yeast cultures.
Yeah, the zombie yeast that's in my beer. No, this is really good.
Delicious.
I'd give this is a 4.0. Cheers to Area 2. They've only been open for 6 weeks, so I was glad we got to catch them early while they're still doing tours of the cool ship room before they start brewing in it, which should be coming in the coming weeks. And then from then on, the general public will never be able to enter that room because you don't want to disturb what's growing in it, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So Tud was lucky. He got to play in the kiddie pool full of beer before.
Yep, sloshing around. No,
cool.
So what would you rate that dark noir that you tried that you said you weren't a fan of? Was that like a 2.5?
I think I gave it a 2.25.
Okay. Yeah, I think aging beer in wine barrels is really tough, especially red wine. I've never seen that done successfully. I've seen beers where it's been partially aged in like white wine barrels and then blended with other barrel aged beers. But I've never seen anything in a red wine barrel for beer.
Yeah, it wasn't my style of beer. I know Patrick, the guy who gave us a tour, he loves that beer. So, to each their own. I would tell people to go out there and try it for yourself and form your own opinion on it. Don't just listen
who knows,
to me.
Maybe I like it.
Yeah, don't just listen to me. I mean, I don't really like red wine or wine in general to begin with. I mean, I'll drink it, obviously, but I think that, a really dark red wine is not my forte anyways. So if you like red wine and really dark red wine, go check it out.
Maybe that's something for you then if you're a red wine drinker, which I am. So who knows? I think I might like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Patrick, give us a shout out. Shoot us over some kind of message or something, and if you want to do an interview with Tud or something.
Yeah, that'd be great. And we can definitely hook them up with some stickers and some swag and get them all drinking along with friends swagged up.
I think that goes for any brewer that listens to our podcast.
Yeah,
honestly.
or literally anybody who just like really, really loves beer.
Yes. Yeah. And so with that, who's drinking next?
I think Chris looks thirstier than me.
It's almost like it's 8 a.m. for you or something.
Yeah, he's 2 hours ahead of me in getting ready to drink beer.
Right. Okay, yeah. So I'll go next. I picked this because it has coffee in it, and since it's a morning, I feel like it's more fitting. So this is Institution Ale Company's 2018 Fall Seasonal, which is out of Camarillo, California. So I think it's the last of my beer trade with Russell H. Beer. So, let's see how this looks. This is an Imperial Brown Ale that has lactose, coffee, and cacao nibs.
Ooh. Oh, see, that's a morning beer if I've ever heard of one.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So pour this bad boy into my Pikachu glass.
True or false, have you had coffee this morning already? Or are you just getting it from the beer?
I've had a few sips of coffee. I have not had as much coffee as I normally have, which is like a pot and a half. So I have it here in my Pikachu glass. As you can see, the cool Pikachu. It isn't.
It's not a poor character glass, unlike most of your Pokemon glasses.
No, because it's a dark beer, you can't really see the poor character, so I choose the one with the light decals.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Makes for good pictures. But it's not completely see-through. I mean, it's dark. It's a brown, so...
Yeah, it's not a billion SRM. It's probably more like a 60.
Yeah. Probably. The head dissipated pretty quickly, as you can see right there. Not too shabby. So let's see. Definitely has that like stereotypical brown smell.
Brown smell.
Smells like brown. So let's see how this bad boy tastes.
Just like picking a Crayola crayon out of the box and sniffing it. That's exactly what it smells like.
Only the brown ones, you're saying?
Yeah, only the brown ones though. They have a unique smell. So do the blue ones and the red ones and the green ones. They all smell different.
Ooh, that is very, very good. Really enjoying this. So I took it out a little bit ahead of time to let it like warm up a little bit. So I get a lot of the coffee, and then I get like the chocolate, well, not chocolate, but cacao-ish bitterness towards the end. The lactose does a really good job of like smoothing it all out and, adding a little bit of body to the beer, because normally brown ales, I don't know, maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just I pick the bad brown ales, but normally they're like a little on the watery side. I don't know. But this is really, really good.
Thinner, I guess, would be another way to say that.
Yeah, that's probably the better way of putting it. So yeah, really enjoying this. So it says this year's fall seasonal is a mocha-inspired brown ale. Yep, that definitely tracks. Imperialized. Oh, geez, how many % alcohol is this? Oh, it's only 7.6. Okay, I was like, oof. Imperialized brown ale includes milk sugar added for extra body and sweetness, Colombian coffee roasted locally by our friends at Beacon Coffee, and cacao nibs. So I've never had an Institution Ale Company beer before, but hopefully I get one or two more throughout the course of trading now, because this is pretty delicious.
I think I have one of those too in my fridge.
Oh, where'd you get yours from?
From Russell H. Beer as well.
I feel like I may be left out here.
We helped him in his quest of drinking a beer from all 50 states last year. So
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a podcast only thing. It was just we sent him Tennessee and Rhode Island beers.
Yeah, and I just so happened to live close enough to Rhode Island to be able to capitalize on that because he had already had Connecticut beer.
Yeah. So very good beer. I will probably give this a 4 out of 5. It's like a perfect morning beer if you're looking for something to pick you up at 10 a.m.
Nice.
That's a good question. Yeah, do you guys have go-to morning beers?
I don't.
No.
I mean, no. Bud Light, maybe?
Yeah, so for me, it's usually when I'm drinking beers in the morning, it's when I'm canoeing or like tailgating those noon UConn football games.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's Bud Light or Bloody Marys.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I guess maybe not necessarily a beer, but I always, canoeing, it's harder to get Bloody Marys on a canoe.
Pass me the celery.
Yeah. Oh, we drink mimosas when we're canoeing. No, my go-to is Bud Light Lime. That's what I like to start my day
that's
with.
good.
Yeah.
That's
I
good
thought
stuff.
you were going to say the all-day IPA.
Those are good too.
Yeah,
I like those.
I transition into that.
Oh, okay. So Bud Light Lime's the morning beer.
Right. That's what kicks it all off for me.
Okay.
All
right. That makes sense.
It's a little sweet. It's kind of a morning flavor.
Yeah. If you squint your eyes hard enough and then think it almost tastes like orange juice.
Well, you could do the Bud Light Orange now.
See, I haven't tried that one. It's a little
it's not as good.
You know how I feel about orange flavored beers.
He wants to pretend they taste like orange, but not actually taste like orange.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, I do need to jump in for a quick second and fix something I said about this beer, this Calva beer.
Oh, correction, folks.
Yeah, so apparently if you read the bottle, it actually tells you a little bit more about how the beer was brewed. So this is Calva is a wheat ale aged in Calvados foundries. So Calvados is not a gin. It's an apple brandy from Normandy, France.
Oh.
And it's traditionally aged in wooden foundries. Two Roads, or Area 2, because they call themselves a different brewery, just an FYI. For anybody who's wondering, it's not Two Roads Area 2, it's actually Two Roads Experimental Brewing Company. Or it's Area 2 Experimental Brewing Company.
Oh, interesting.
So anyways, the Area 2 acquired one such vessel and aged their ale dubbed Calva inside for 9 months to capture its unique essence. At its core, Calva is a crisp, slightly soured brew with an apple bouquet. You'll find refined notes of apple and pineapple with an oaky dry finish.
Okay. So now that you've read that, give us another sip and tell us if you get those apple flavors.
Yes. Definitely get a lot more of the pineapple. It might be because it's been sitting out for a little bit, but there is a subtle hint of apple. You can definitely taste a brandy undertone.
Now that you know. Yeah. That's interesting.
I
always think it's funny when you try and pick out these notes, and then you read something about it, and then all of a sudden you're informed by that, and all I can think about is, I do get that roasted, toasted banana or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It is weird how that works sometimes.
If you're seeking out the brandy flavor, you can definitely, brandy's unique in and of itself, so it's really good.
Nice.
So I was told, though, that they will no longer be able to brew this beer because the wooden vessel, the foundry as it would be called, can only be brewed in like once or twice before all the flavor is gone.
Yeah. That's with most barrel-aged things, right? You can only use it a limited number of times.
But here's the thing. It's a giant, wooden barrel. It's, 3 or 4 of me tall and, as wide as a normal fermenter. So they have to basically either find something else to do with this foundry or throw it away, and then they have to buy another one.
Well, the law of inverse squares says that the bigger your barrel is going to be, the less flavor you're going to get because you have that decreased volume to surface area ratio. So if you're barrel aging something at home, and let's say you have a 1 liter barrel, like I have a little 1 liter barrel I'm saving for an experimentation with, you don't have to age things for very long because you have so much wood touching so little of the beer or whatever you're aging. But with a barrel that big, that many barrels, gigantic foundry, it takes a lot to infuse that flavor. It's like you're not going to get that much flavor.
There
Boom,
you go.
engineered.
Science, folks.
Yeah. This
math.
is our new news segment called Science with Obert.
But no, my guess, Todd, is they're not going to throw it away. I feel like, you know how you said that you can only use it a couple times before the flavor? I feel like the barrels just kind of circulate. Like someone is going to be like, oh, we took this barrel that had beer aging in it, and we're going to make, a
brandy
gin with
again
or something like that. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I think that it's just kind of, and I'm just speculating. Who knows? Patrick might be able to weigh in, but I think these kind of circulate around, and people like to use them for their own experiments.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably a better way of thinking about it. And Two Roads is very eco-friendly, so them destroying a giant wooden barrel is probably not in their forte or in their wishes or their wants. They probably just do something else with it.
Maybe you can buy it, Ted, to make your man cave for after you get married. You can.
Am I just going to live in the barrel?
Put a door in it.
Yeah,
and then that could be your beer drinking hut.
There you go.
Room for you and an armchair. And you just hang out, sit there, and drink beer in the dark.
It'd be my podcast recording studio.
There you go.
I like it. The warm wood sound would absorb all that feedback. I like it.
Yeah, there you go. But
all right,
Obert,
I put this off long enough.
Yes, I think it's that time.
I think it's time.
Okay, so on the podcast for my beer today, as you can tell, I'm very excited.
Whoop, whoop.
I have a beer I was recommended would be good for a Face Your Beers segment. So I've never tasted this beer before, but I've been told it's not good. It's Face Your Beers! So it's actually very cool labeled. This is from Mother Earth Brew Company. It's called Syntax. It's an Imperial Peanut Butter Stout. Tasting notes, big and bold, balanced roastiness, brown sugar ale with natural flavor added. 8.1% alcohol. It seems like if I'm going to drink it could be breakfasty.
It sounds good.
I know. I'm like, generally a peanut butter stout, I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Give me all that peanut butter stouty goodness.
I expect this to be good, but I was told to hold my judgment still after I try it.
So, I mean,
is this a friend of the pod? Do you want to out them on the air?
Yeah, this is Rosie, Montana listener.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so let's see. It pours, I think, a little thicker than Chris's brown.
You said it was like a brown sugar ale too, right? Like that was how they described it?
Yeah, a little bit more persistent head than what Chris was dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
I see no complaints with this beer so far.
Yeah,
it looks beautiful.
Looks like it's getting pretty good.
But by the way, shout out to the brewery who made this. We don't know if this is a bad beer. So,
well, let's not shout them out yet then.
Well, I was going to say, if they're listening, I don't want them to be angry. We haven't even tried it.
Yeah, I don't even know where Mother Earth is from.
It's also Earth Day, so this is another really good fit.
Oh, hey, good point.
That was totally my plan. Oh. So yeah, for Earth Day, here we go. Syntax smells like it's not going to be that bad. So we'll see. I got high hopes.
Is it possible that Rosie is just not a peanut butter stout fan?
It's possible. I'll have to do some research. But
watch Obert give it like a 4.5. Like,
yeah. We're either going to tear apart a brewery or a listener.
Yeah, no, I don't. This isn't bad. This is, well, I don't know. It's good. My initial reaction is good, but
okay.
It's I think a little bit of chemically taste lingering on the back. That makes sense. A little bit artificial flavoring, maybe.
I was going to say that's always what you want out of your beer is chemicals.
Yeah, I can see how this is I mean, for Face Your Beers, yeah, this isn't disgusting, but I think it'll be an interesting beer to finish this morning. It's good. So let me get some flavor profile here.
Okay.
Because I get that earthy aroma, that roasted for sure.
Toasted banana.
Roasted, toasted, peanut butter.
It does remind me a little bit of the Sweet Baby Jesus, which I think is
that's good.
The best peanut butter beer that exists.
That's really good.
So you get that earthy peanut flavor for sure, as well as, and I get the sweetness coming in from the brown sugar, absolutely. But then there's just something on the back end. I'm going to finish my whole beer trying to figure it out.
Do you get a lot of peanut butter, or is it very subtle?
It is subtle. It doesn't taste like somebody dropped a dollop of peanut butter in here, which is good. I think with peanut butter, moderation is the key to success.
Nope.
Yeah.
I want a brewery to come out with a beer that tastes exactly like I'm drinking.
You want
peanut butter.
It to look like a jar of Skippies and be that color.
Skippies? What are we, 12?
Yeah. What are we? Well, a third world country?
I think that would be a very creative, cool label. So.
Listen, it's got to either be Teddy's, which is a Northeastern thing for those not from the Northeast, or, Justin's is fine too. It's got to be natural peanut butter. I want it to taste like peanuts.
Well, yeah, but don't you agree that Skippies would at least be a good label?
It's Jif or it's no peanut butter at all.
Oh, Jif is awful.
Jif is Todd, I'm going to boot you from the call right now. How do I boot you?
Choosy moms.
Mute.
Choosy moms choose Jif, but they should probably be a little bit. They should probably be a little bit more choosy.
No, it just means that my mom liked me more. It's fine.
Yeah.
I actually hated peanut butter as a child.
That's because you didn't eat Jif.
Right. And now Todd only likes the peanut butter that just tastes like peanuts.
Yeah,
so it sounds like you still don't really like peanut butter.
Oh, no. I love natural peanut butter is my jam.
It's like a different animal, though, than regular peanut butter.
I could eat an entire jar of, Teddy's or Justin's peanut butter like that.
There we go. Mini handle. Okay, so overall, this isn't bad. This isn't great. This is a 3 point... Hang on, one more sip. This is a 3.25. That's floating between that and a 3.0.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, so this came straight from the fridge, so it might taste a little different as we warm up.
Yeah. So with stouts sometimes, especially if they're not the best or not my favorite, I generally get a metallic-y aftertaste.
That's I think what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Chemically, it's a little bit of that. Maybe iron or copper flavor.
Yeah, so I was like, maybe that's what that weird aftertaste is.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what it was. I just couldn't put my finger on it.
Because I actually had one yesterday at a brewery, and it was the same exact way. It was not bad, but then just that aftertaste was not great. So,
well, I feel good now that I'm celebrating Earth Day in style.
There you go. You should just walk around with that can all day and be like, this is what I did to support Earth Day.
Yeah. Oh, there comes the owl with our letter of acceptance.
I was going to say, Hedwig is coming.
Yes, we've kind of been neglecting the mailbag a little bit.
It's mailbag, by the way.
Yeah. So, sorry for our new listeners.
That paper fluttering is just opening our mailbag.
Because we have
very literal and real mailbag.
Exactly. Very literal, very, very, very real mailbag. So we haven't done them in a while. We haven't been getting a ton, but we have quite a few right now that I think we could go through. We'll touch on a few real quick. Some of them are quick. Some of them are people writing in about their Ross Hill Road speeds.
By the way, did anybody
tell everyone what the answer was to the Lewis and Clark question?
Well, I was going to say, did anybody ever email in an attempted answer at it?
No.
So the answer was, it was the Lewis and Clark Corps of Discovery.
There you go.
Was the name of their excursion group, their corps. And it also makes a fun name for a mixed 12-pack, your Corps of Discovery.
That actually is a really good name for a mixed 12-pack.
Do you think Clark was upset that his name was not before Lewis?
Well, I know one of them suffered from massive depression, so probably. There's a 50-50.
Because usually you go alphabetical order. Usually you'd say Clark and Lewis. But how did Lewis get his name in front of Clark?
He must have known a guy. And that guy, Thomas Jefferson.
He knew a historian.
Yeah.
It's hey, when you tell our story, can you just put me first?
Yeah.
So first one comes from Spencer. Spencer writes in, he has a hangover cure. He said he was catching up, so he has a hangover cure for us.
Okay.
And he wanted to let us know that what he does is in the morning, he goes to the supermarket and he buys a fruit bowl. He's like, you don't want to use a knife if you're hungover, so make sure it's the pre-cut fruit bowls. And then he says
it's like fruit salad in a little plastic container. Is that what a fruit bowl is?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he says the sugars and water are pretty much what your body is looking for after a night of hard relaxing. So that's a good pro tip right there. I mean,
sugar is not what I personally need.
Don't you say you drink a Coke?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So anyways, it's a good pro tip. I'm going to go one further and say if you're going to do this, just go buy one and have it in the fridge, because then you don't have to go to the supermarket at all.
I will tell you, I've recently started, just to touch base on this, because I don't think I ever had one before, because I was always looking for one. That's why we did this. I've been experimenting with a multivitamin the morning after drinking. A multivitamin, some B12, and some D3, and then taking 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and a tablespoon of lemon juice with some salt, and drinking that with like in water. Hangover gone, because that apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and salt is the same ingredients that are in Gatorade. Just this is healthier.
Okay,
so you're getting those electrolytes back in.
I don't know, man.
I'd rather drink a Gatorade.
I opened up a bottle of apple cider vinegar, that would cure my hangover because I would immediately vomit up anything that was left in my stomach.
I drink apple cider vinegar like every day.
It cannot. I can't get that stuff down. It's bad for your teeth, Ted. Make sure that when you're drinking that, you always brush your teeth after.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I usually dilute it with water.
Okay.
All right. So next letter comes from, I want to say friend of the pod, but I'm not, after reading this, maybe not so much.
Frenemy of the pod?
Frenemy of the pod. So this is by Jordan, and he says, here's your hate mail. So I guess, like we said before, if we ask for it for, 6 months, you're eventually going to get some. And
so hang on. Before you read it, I would like to issue blind. Fuck you, Jordan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. Throwing the gauntlet in your face, Jordan.
Right.
Getting slapped by Ted's glove already before we even hear what you have to say.
All right. So he says, you guys are the absolute worst. In fact, you guys are so bad that I want you to answer a question so I can listen to you answer it in disdain on the next podcast. Now, he said this in February.
Listeners are our favorite.
Yeah. He said this in February, so he had to wait a little bit.
We've made him listen to every episode since then in hopes of getting this.
So he asks, what dance would you do if you were held at gunpoint and told to, he said entrain. I think he meant to say entertain them. And he said, okay, love you. I mean, you're all right. So Tud, as the world's best dancer, if you had to entertain...
TM.
Yeah, TM. If you had to entertain, #phone call of the pod.
Who has a landline?
We do.
By
now.
the way, we can touch on this for a second while this rings. What is that noise?
We have a landline. It's for Dana's work phone. So
okay. So wait, can you give out Dana's work phone as the phone number for the podcast for all of our listeners to call in?
#phone of the pod.
#phone of the pod. Maybe I'll put it on the website, or maybe it'll be a Patreon tier or something.
That'll be our prank on Dana. What she gets for having her orderly eggs.
So Tud, as the world's best dancer, TM, what dance would you do if you were held at gunpoint and told to entertain them? There's only one answer I want to hear come out of your mouth.
Me too.
Oh boy, now I feel really nervous that I'm not going to have the right answer.
I'm assuming me and Chris have different answers, so you're going to disappoint at least one of us.
My mind instantly went towards the chicken dance.
All right, that was not in my mind.
I feel like that's not entertaining enough, so I feel like I just have
only if you're singing the song while doing the dance.
I feel like I'd have to twerk. I mean, I can twerk.
Making a mouth polka. Yeah.
I could twerk. We can make twerking happen.
All right.
Or the electric slide.
Hey, Ted, why don't you show us you twerking? Okay. For the listeners at home, he's getting up. He's showing us the cam. Oh, wow. Watch that. Ooh. Ted.
I didn't know bodies could move like that.
I know. Yeah. All
right.
You should really do that professionally.
Obert, what were you hoping he was going to say?
The Carlton.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. No, that's a pretty good one. I was thinking the Oops, I Did It Again dance from Britney Spears.
Oh, from 7th grade?
Yeah, because I know he knows that one.
I actually do really know the entire choreographed dance to that song. Thanks, Mr. Austin.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have that as a Patreon rewards tier. A video of Ted against a wall doing Oops, I Did It Again.
There we go. That's if it's $100 a month.
if you want to pay enough money, I will do the dance.
He's not above
or if you're held at gunpoint. One of the two.
I can be bought, people.
Patreon tier.
I want to know at gunpoint. I want to know the person who's like, "Hey, put your hands up. Okay, now do a dance. Keep dancing, or I'll shoot you. It better be entertaining."
Do you think that like if I did the whole You think if I did the dance where you grab like your foot with your hand and you start like doing like crunches, you think that would be entertaining for him? You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I don't know what that's called though.
Me neither.
But I don't know. I can see you're already working on moves for your first dance after you get married.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
our first dance is going to be legit.
Okay, sorry. I should change that then. I see you're already working on moves for your mother-son dance. You do before you do your first dance.
So
you and Mom in the pod are going to do the sprinkler.
Do the shopping cart across the state or across the dance floor.
Go.
That's it. So before we move on, I just want to thank Jordan and the Wreck My Podcast crew for being our very first patron. So good job, Tud. You're saying fuck you to our patrons. Good job.
Hey, I said it with all love.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so he did and you did. I could tell. There was a lot of hate love there.
He did say that he loved me, so
yeah, he loves us all. We love him too. So next one was, and I sent this to you guys. It was from Sal, friend of the pod, Sal. Oof.
Friend of the pal.
Pal of the sod.
Pal of the sod. He says, recurring question on the pod, looks like Obert wins this ranking. And it's we'll add it to the show notes, but all 50 states ranked beer-wise, and this came out in March of 2019. We have a bunch of qualms with it, so...
I don't know what you're talking about. Montana over here is weighing in at 21.
Which was the highest of our three old states, I guess. So just a quick... California is 1, 2 is Oregon, and 3 is Michigan. Those are kind of, not too bad. Vermont's 5, which is we think kind of low.
Yeah, I've got a lot of issues with this list.
For the people who just are dying to know what the top 5 was. Wait, why did they skip 4?
But then, so North Carolina, which is my new state, so, that really counts, is 13. 21 is Montana. 24 is Nashville, not Nashville, Tennessee.
the state that
just Nashville.
Just Nashville. And then poor Connecticut is all the way down at 38, which we all agree is just, they must have never been to Connecticut before.
Right. It's way too low. The article talks about a brewery that none of the three of us in all of our Connecticut drinking history have heard of, which is East Rock Brewing. It's in New Haven, so I'm going to have to go check this out next time I want to go back to Area 2.
I mean, I've been to East Rock, and I have heard of this brewery, but I don't know anything other than just the name of it. Up until this article, I'd never heard of it at all.
Yeah, I disagree with this, that with Connecticut being so low. I mean, it's behind states such as Wyoming, Louisiana, which I've had a lot of Louisiana beers. It's below Texas, which it should not be because Texas's beer is at best.
Come at us, Texas.
Yeah, well, just for the podcast's listeners' benefit, I travel to Texas a lot for work, so I'm there a lot. The beer's not very good. It's also below Hawaii, which the only two breweries that they highlight are Maui Brewing and Kona Brewing. And I've had Kona, and it's not better than anything in Connecticut.
No, I mean, it's good, but it's not. It's
a solid ale.
Yeah. So
yeah, well, Chris and I are sitting here in the top half, listening to all of your complaints, Todd, and
Well,
listen, us top halfers.
Obert, I believe that you even said yourself, there's no way that Montana is better than Connecticut.
I don't know what you're talking about, Todd.
Yeah.
I would never never say bad things about my state like that.
But okay, so that was clearly some contention. We'll throw the link into the show notes though, so you guys can look and let us know.
Yeah, thanks for that list though, Sal.
Yeah, I'm
glad that you thought of us.
Very interesting. Let us know, listeners, write in and tell us where your state ranks and all that fun stuff. So brag.
Sal's a good guy. Definitely better than Blevin.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So we got some more hate mail. This is from #brother of the pod, Brad. He writes in, he will not take part in eating a loaf of bread, no matter how condensed we make it. And now that he is educated, he's no longer condoning this Brad go get it game. So
he doesn't have a college degree yet. He's not educated.
Apparently that's where the cutoff is. So
by the way, more hate mail, so another fuck you to Brad.
Okay. That one stands. It's fine. So the next few we have are Ross Hill road speeds, including a fun story from a dad of the pod. So first, Brad writes in. He says, managed probably about 75 on the flat part between Mrs. Gauthier's, who's getting a lot of shout-outs on the podcast, and my house. So about 75, and then we got...
okay.
So hashtag Mom of the Pod was very upset with Tud.
Yeah, she called me about that, too.
Hashtag Son of the Pod.
Okay. Hashtag Son of the Pod. She said, okay, so no, I did not get pulled over on Rosso Road. The fastest I think I've gone is 60. But Michael, 95? Whose car were you driving? ? Hashtag Mom of the Pod. So.
Yeah, I was driving my car.
Okay.
I was going to the other end of Rosso Road, so you can get going. I mean, up that hill, there's no stoplight. She did call me about this, though, and she was not happy. So I got yelled at by hashtag Mom of the Pod.
Good. I'm glad. And then let me see. All right. So this is a cop out, but friend of the pod, Dan, he writes in, my answer is faster than I'm willing to admit, LOL. And where it was between Strawberry Fields and his driveway. So Dan he grew up on the same road as us, and he is apparently afraid to say how fast he's gone because apparently the cops are going to come get him.
Own
or
it,
something.
Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Past the statute of limitations, meaning after you slowed down.
Yeah. Like, what kind of... That's just such a cop-out.
I mean, Tud said he went almost 4 times the speed limit, so...
Yeah.
So, I mean, unless you...
I feel like I need to go back and, hit 100 just so I can say I went 4 times the speed limit.
Yeah, you should do that. You should probably... That's...
Maybe not.
No. So, Ted, when you told that story, I immediately thought of you in, your big Dodge truck, from a million years ago. I was like, there's...
Oh, the Ford?
Was it a Ford?
That
was
thing,
it a Ford?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that thing cannot go 95.
It could. It just wouldn't have gotten very good gas mileage. When you got faster than, 20, you could see the gas gauge move. Any other speed ones?
Yeah, we got the hashtag Dad of the Pod. Obert, do you have this one up?
My dad. Yeah,
you want to go through it a little bit?
We have. Yeah, my dad got a speeding ticket actually.
He got pulled over on Rosso Road.
On Rosso Road. He said early morning in a hurry past the Gauthier's house. Yeah, came over the hill, and sure enough, right next to Chris's driveway, actually, there was a cop car. And they know that's where you're going fastest on that road.
Big hill at the bottom of the big hill.
Yep. Yeah. So the cop said he was going 52 and wrote him a ticket for 45. So he said he's definitely driven faster than that, but the fastest he's gotten proof in terms of a piece of paper that a cop gave him is 52 miles an hour.
Fastest official recorded time.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yours truly, a dad of the podcast. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So those are the record so far. Well,
that was fun. Yeah. I think we can open it up to people who haven't been on Rosso Road. People who've just been going way too fast. That's your story. If you want in.
So that's good. We'll try and keep a running total. Probably won't, but we'll try.
So let the record book show. Fastest unofficial time is 95 by me. Fastest official recorded time is 52.
Yeah.
So last one that we have right now is from friend of the pod, Drew. He needs a recommendation. So he says, Dear DAWF Podcast, I'm heading up to Acadia National Park next month. We're planning on stopping in Portland, Maine for dinner on the way up. I know Portland is supposed to be a great beer city. If I only have time to drink at one spot in Portland, where should I go? Thanks, Drew.
Clearly Shipyard.
I was like,
kidding.
Really?
No. There's a ton of good places. He asks us a tough question, I think, with this one because there's a lot of right answers for this one.
I'm sure there's a really good beer bar up there that we don't know exists, but if I had to choose a brewery, I'd probably say Bissell Brothers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Bissell Brothers is good.
I haven't been in there. I did have lunch at Liquid Riot. They are a brewery and a distillery. They make also really good cocktails, and the food wasn't bad either.
Yeah, so I actually made this same trip 2 Septembers ago, I think. Went up to Acadia and we stopped in Portland. So it depends on what kind of beer you like, but I would say most bang for your stop is if you go to Foundation Brewing Company. which is good beer to begin with. But then in that same building, there's Battery Steel Brewing and Austin Street Brewing. So 3 breweries, and you could park once and go to 3 breweries. And Battery Steel, they were like brand new when I opened, but I've heard they've been doing great stuff, and they were really good when I had them. So that would be my recommendation, especially since then you can.
There we go.
So you say if you only have time to drink at one spot, that's technically one spot.
Yeah,
so,
one spot. He could tell his pregnant wife, like, well, it was only one spot.
I mean, truthfully, that's what I did to my pregnant wife. So I was like, we're just stopping at one place, and it just so happened to have 3 breweries. Yeah. So
you got 3 different recommendations from the 3 co-hosts, and when you have to write it back in and tell us where you ended up stopping.
I will say I did a quick Google search, and just to see if I recognized any of the bar names. There's this place called the Thirsty Pig, which seems to be a tap house. So you may find some really good beers there too, if you just wanted to stop and get a burger.
Yeah, so 4 recommendations from the 3 hosts. But I think we all agreed that they should stop. They should stop at Maine and Freeport on their way back.
100%
down and pick some up for maybe just for back in Connecticut.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they should pick some up and then send them to us.
I actually saw that Maine Beer Company, which is what we're talking about. They had both dinner and second dinner on draft, which was pretty amazing.
Ooh.
So.
And they just redid their tap room. Apparently, they just reopened with a new room.
Oh, cool. Last time I was in there was for how big of a name they are. It was a very small space. So I'm glad to hear that they did some improvements to their tasting area.
Mm. Yeah, so make sure that you go check that out, too, and then report back to us about how you liked it.
Yeah. Podcast homework here.
Cool. So
is that closing out the mailbag?
Yep.
You're shoving the rest of the mail in the closet for next week?
Yep.
Hiding under Tote Mountain.
Yeah, so that's I think we're just about caught up. We may have 1 or 2 outstanding. I just have to dig through the mailbag to to find them. But yep, that's the end of mailbag. We're all caught up.
Very literal and real inbox. It's a actual box where mail
that's where it
shows
goes
up.
In.
But no, again, dawfpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing you guys. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to get on the podcast, even if you hate us.
Right.
You can show up on the podcast.
You're just going to get a fuck you from me.
Yeah. I've actually heard from listeners. They're like, do you have to drop so many F-bombs on the podcast? So, Ted, what do you have to say to that?
Yes.
Okay. It's a 21 plus podcast anyway. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, we're drinking alcohol on this podcast, and especially if you're going to mail in hate, you're going to get an F-bomb.
Okay, stamp of F-bomb.
I don't think we're that bad.
No, I don't think so either. You hear worse sitting at a bar. So
you must go to some seedy bars. I'm kidding.
So I do have a question for you guys, and this is not like a stupid question. This is more of a why I was cranky this past week question.
This is like an internal mail of the pod.
Yes.
Breaking news.
So we had hamburgers earlier this week, and they were made with bacon and cheddar cheese mixed into the burger.
Okay. That sounds tasty.
So question, do you believe that because there's cheese mixed into the burger, does it qualify as a cheeseburger? Or if you said, I would like a cheeseburger, would you not throw a piece of cheese on top of said bacon cheddar burger?
Well, I have a feeling that Chris and I are going to have different opinions on this.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yes, we probably are.
Yeah, so my take on it is I don't think there's such a thing as too much cheese on a burger. But I will say, if you were like lactose intolerant, then yeah, it does count as a cheeseburger.
Okay, but you wouldn't qualify it like just the plain burger cooked.
But if I asked for it as a cheeseburger, I would hope that they would throw another slice on top for me.
Okay.
And actually, my handle this week is a burger recipe, so we'll get to that later.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I would consider it a cheeseburger, but that's only because I generally, I mean, I don't eat cheeseburgers, so it would.
Would you eat this burger?
I would probably eat it, but I don't know if I'd like it. That's
okay.
The bacon and the cheese cancel each other out.
Right. So then it's just a regular burger.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, so if I knew that it was like, if it's like a world famous, this is the best burger you're ever going to have burger, I'll probably have it. But if I'm at a restaurant or a pub or something, and they're like, "Oh, here's your menu," and I see that it's this mixture thing, I'm going to order something else.
Pass. Yeah.
So you would qualify this without a slice of American cheese on top as a cheeseburger itself?
I would, yes.
Okay. So I have to tell you that Caitlin agrees with you, Chris, and she thought that it was a cheeseburger. I agreed with Obert, and I was highly upset with my fact that I was promised a cheeseburger and was
and you got a burger with cheese in it.
Right, and I was given a burger with cheese in it versus a cheeseburger. So just wanted to bring this up because I was angry.
Ted was cranky.
Yeah.
Ted was cranky. And I flat out told her, I said, I'm bringing this to the podcast. Well, we must have a forum.
There it is. It's here. It's made it.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to get your crankiness out into the world via our podcast. So we're happy to provide that service for you.
Exactly.
Right. It's like life's atrocities should be brought to the forefront.
Brought to the podcast.
Via my mouth.
Yeah.
But it's about that time, I think, to bestow upon our listeners our 3 handles of wisdom on our frosty mug of wisdom. Whoops. Made that bad.
It's our wisdom.
Our wisdomy wisdom.
All the wisdoms.
Chris's wisdom, Todd's wisdom, Obert's wisdom, and our wisdom, handles of wisdom mug of wisdom.
Filled with wisdom.
Happy Earth Day, people.
Well, you get the gist. You get the gist. The gist is wisdom. TLDR.
So for the first wisdom I'm going to bring to the podcast, following up with that, is I had an amazing burger the other day. We're going to post a picture to the Instagram, and I can already hear the people writing in the comments being like, "Oh my God, I need a recipe for this burger." So we're preemptively providing it to you because if there's one thing I cook well, it's burgers. That's what I do. I'm not too big of a man around the kitchen, but around the grill, I got it figured out.
Cheeseburger or regular burger?
Well, the cheese is optional. For me, it's a requirement, but for some others, it's optional. So you're going to want to buy one of those burger patty presses to make it into a nice shape, right? I think that's an important part is you got to have the consistency right.
You don't want an oval?
You don't want it. You want to make sure it's a uniform thickness so it cooks evenly.
Okay.
That's an important part. So you're going to want to buy a pound of meat. I went with bison. You can also do beef, or if you're not into red meat, there's options there as well. Made a bison burger this week. I added into it a mix of ground pepper, Lowry's seasoned salt, chipotle pepper for a little bit of that smokiness flavor as well, and some onion powder. You want to mix all that in with your meat before you form it into patties. Take that, put it on the grill, cook it to medium temperature, and then key other factors. So the patty is only the beginning, right? You also need to have all the toppings. So for this burger, I did a little bit of sliced avocado with a fried egg, kind of made it more of a California burger. And the piece de resistance was a toasted Kaiser roll. I throw that right on the grill as well for maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Do you butter that
on
roll?
High heat? You can. I did not. I think if you butter it, you'll get a nice golden color, but I like to just throw it right on the grill. I got so many things going on when I'm grilling that I didn't have time for butter.
Okay.
And I also went with Cabot aged sharp white cheddar cheese.
Ooh, that's good cheese.
Yeah, it's good cheese. You're going to get that nice bite. Is going to really contrast with the savoriness of the egg and avocado. So that plus the smokiness from that chipotle is going to create a really well-rounded mouthfeel. It's going to be nice and juicy to bite into. That's my handle, folks. I hope you were taking notes, because Chris is not going to write all this in the description.
No. I mean, the most I'll do is put a hyperlink to a recipe of some sorts.
Well, then I'd have to write it and make a website, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, so okay. Well,
so just listen to this podcast multiple times. Make sure you download it each time, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And no rewinding. I'll know if you rewind.
Nope. Just if you miss it while you're taking notes, I try to go slow enough for everybody to write this down. But just hit delete, download again, and then you can fast forward. But you can't rewind. If you go too far, just download it again. It's fine. Okay, so that's my wisdom for the wisdom. Who wants to wisdom the next wisdom?
I'll wisdom the next wisdom of the Wisdomy Wisdom. So my wisdom this week. We recently found a local zoo, which, I mean, I guess it can be like the wisdom can encompass all zoos, but the one in particular is called Zootastic in Statesville.
My wisdom is zoos.
My wisdom is zoos.
Big animals in cages.
So this is a Zootastic in Statesville. It is a privately owned zoo, which I don't understand what the difference is, but okay, that's something that they broadcast. But it's pretty neat. Like they go out and they'll like either rescue or try and save animals, and that's where most of these animals like come from, which is a pretty neat premise. And we ended up going there because we have a 16-month-old son, and he had a lot of fun, like looking at the tigers and looking at the giraffes and all of that. So
I was gonna say this sounds more like CJ's handle than Chris's.
You know, believe it or not, though, I probably had more enjoyment out of all of this than CJ did.
He's just like, whatever. We got cats at home. Why do I have to look at these bigger ones here?
He loves the baby goats. Those are his favorite. Like and the kangaroos. He gives them kisses. So, or tries to.
Are there monkeys at this zoo?
They're baboons, and I think there's maybe one other kind. But I mean, there's like a lot, and it's a relatively small zoo, or smaller as far as zoos go, I guess. But because it's like private, and all of these are like for lack of a better word, they're all rescues. You can get really close. So, like the tigers, you're like there's a fence, and then like the bigger fence for the cage, but you're like 4 feet from where the tigers are. So it's not like they're recessed at all or anything. So
it's not like you're locked in a Jeep on a track or anything.
Right. And there's T-Rexes and things. So
perfect distance for eating.
Well, you can feed the tigers, which is pretty cool.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they put like a piece of meat on a stick. I got a picture. I'll put it on the Instagram of me feeding the tiger.
Yeah, I saw the Snapchat, I think from Dana, of the tiger feeding.
Yeah. So it's really cool. And like I said, these animals, for the most part, are rescues. And one example of that is a recent one where a bigger zoo had a lion cub that was born with like paw deformities. And the bigger zoo, which I don't know which one, but they were going to euthanize the lion cub. You know, which, I mean, lions are, I don't know if they're like endangered or not, but you still really shouldn't kill them if you don't have to. At least that's my hot take on it.
Hashtag wisdom.
Yeah.
And so what this zoo did is they actually adopted the cub, had surgery done to like fix its paw deformity, and are actually getting prosthetics for this lion. So, you know, they do things like that to make, save these really cool creatures. But I mean, that zoo in particular is really cool. But I mean, zoos in general are a lot of fun, especially if you have a small child.
Is your zoo bigger than the Roger Williams Zoo?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I haven't been to the Roger Williams Zoo in a while.
Pretty big zoo.
Yeah.
Is it a big zoo?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Pride of Rhode Island, basically.
I haven't been to a zoo in years.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'll say that. But if you're ever in Statesville, check it out. And if you're ever near a zoo, you should probably go because they're a lot of fun. And you get to see really cool animals. So, and CJ likes them. So you should hold solace in the fact that my son enjoys zoos.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you for sharing that wisdom.
Yeah, that's my wisdomy wisdom. So, Tud, do you have some wisdom to finish off this wisdom?
I do have some wisdom to share with the people who are looking for wisdom.
Okay, good.
So my wisdom this week is a little piece of wisdom called AfterShokz headphones. So these things are pretty cool. They wrap around your head, but they're bone conducting headphones. So they don't go into your ear. They sit on your temple. And so what happens is it's all titanium. So as the music or the podcast or whatever comes through, it actually vibrates the bones in your skull, and you can hear it internally in your ears.
That's so weird.
It is really weird.
What?
Yeah, it's really weird. They were on sale at Best Buy last week. They'll still run you about $100, but they make it so there's nothing in your ear. So while you're listening to music or a podcast, you're still fully aware of your surroundings. So it's really good for bike riding. It's really good for hiking in the woods. It's really good if you're sitting in an office and you just want to make sure that, when somebody approaches your cube and or your office, you can hear that somebody's there so they're not scaring the crap out of you coming up from behind. All these things work. The sound quality obviously is not as good as, a really nice pair of headphones would be, but it is definitely very good for what it is. And
yeah, as someone who hikes alone in bear country, I could see the appeal of having a pair of headphones that let me keep my surroundings as part of what I'm hearing.
Right. Yeah, so these are really good. I bought the AfterShokz Titanium Air, which is the newest version of them. They're a little bit more lighter weight than the other AfterShokz, so they actually fit underneath like a bike helmet really well. I guess that was a big complaint about the prior models, is that they were a little bit too bulky to go underneath a bike helmet, but this one has corrected that. I used it all week, and the battery it says it's still at medium, so it's not really a big, massive drain on that either.
That's awesome. It's not even down to medium rare yet.
Right. It's good wisdom. But no, definitely check them out, especially if you guys are really big into hiking and or outdoor stuff, or if you're just looking to have something cool. They also have 2 microphones in it, so one microphone is used to cancel the noise around you, and the other one is used to pick up your voice, so you can actually use it as a headset too.
That's cool. Yeah, it sounds like a tailor-made handle for me, because I do like to bike and hike, so...
I did actually think of you when I was bringing it up.
Yeah, well, that's great. Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
I'm happy to impart
really
wisdom.
Cool. I was just looking for wisdom-like headphones, and I don't know if this is quite what I'm looking for, but it's pretty interesting.
I mean, you can always buy them and try them, and if you don't like them, return them.
It's a lot of extra work,
If only there was some wisdom on how to do quick returns.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not using the 4-handled mugs this week. So.
Yeah.
And so, with that, thank you all for listening. We'd like to thank the people who provided today's beers. I'm going to go first with Area 2 Experimental Brewing Company, a.k.a. Two Roads, for their Calva beer.
I'd like to thank Institution Ale Company for their 2018 Fall Seasonal.
And on this Earth Day, I want to thank Mother Earth Brew Company for the Syntax Imperial Peanut Butter Stout.
That's some good wisdom right there. Please make sure that you follow us on all the social medias, DAWF Podcast. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Untapped. Make sure you follow the email, dawfpodcast@gmail.com. The event for the beers from Obert on Instagram has closed. We will announce the winner in the coming week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And this is an early congratulations to the winner, whoever it happens to be. Special shout out to James Vaklovic from James Vaklovic Designs for designing our logo. And do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
No. Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter, folks.
And with that, happy Easter. And with that, I'm Tud.
My name's Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends. You know, it's a really funny sounding word if you say it a bunch of times.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Wisdomy Wisdom.
So much. Can we just start my day now after drinking a beer?
Yeah.